Good afternoon. I need to make some English muffins today, so I thought I'd take you along and show you how this is done. I found this recipe online and I've been using it for a while now. They always come out perfect, so I want to share it with you guys. You know, while everybody's stuck at home during this virus, why not try cooking something you wouldn't normally cook? So let's make some English muffins. The first thing we're going to need is a 1.25 cups of warm water. Okay, so we have 1.25 cups of warm-ish water. To this, we're going to add a tablespoon of sugar. Just going to mix this up a little bit. Okay, now we are going to add a teaspoon of yeast. Oh, if I can open the yeast. I just use the Fleischmann's active dry yeast. We're going to use 1 teaspoon. My yeast is cold, so it doesn't proof as well, but it works. I use my yeast at least once a week, so I know it's good. I'm not going to worry about it too much. So we're just going to set this aside for a minute. Okay, this is what I have for a bowl. So in this bowl, we are going to add 2 3/4 cups of flour. There's 2. Okay, so there's 2 1/2. Here we're going to add 1 teaspoon of salt. Just with my knife here, spread the salt out. Make sure it's all mixed in there. We need 2 tablespoons of melted butter or oil. And I have done this both ways, and it comes out the same either way. I've used canola oil, I've used just plain vegetable oil, I've used unsalted butter, I've used salted butter. It doesn't really seem to make too much of a difference. Now when you're using salted butter, you might want to put a little bit less salt, but let me grab my butter. Okay, so I'm just melting the butter in the microwave, and you can see here my yeast is starting to bubble up there. Okay, so we have 2 tablespoons of melted butter or oil. You can use any kind of oil that you want, but I wouldn't use a strong tasting oil. Like olive oil is way too strong of a taste, in my opinion, for this. You want to use something that doesn't have much of a taste, like sunflower oil, or I use canola oil, and it's fine. So whatever you have, butter or oil, you want to mix in 2 tablespoons of that with your flour. Okay, and now we are going to add our yeast and water mixture into that. That's yeast, water, and sugar. We're going to mix this up. Alright, now the fun part comes in. Now that we've got this all mixed up, and you can see it's like, it's all together, There's no dry flour in there. Now we're going to put a little bit of flour on our board. The flour on the board. I'm going to take the dough out. And this is going to be a sticky dough. It's not going to be like bread dough. This is going to stick. So you kind of want to, let's put a little bit more flour on the top. So you want to try to kind of move it fast in your hands. You don't want to hold on to it for very long because it will stick to you. And we need to knead this for 3 to 4 minutes. And I've got some stuck to my hands. And you do want to keep it moving kind of quick because it will stick. You can always add just a little bit more flour if it's super sticky. I'm going to add just a little bit more. It's very humid here today. We have storms rolling through. And if it's really humid where you are, it will take a little bit extra flour. And if it's really dry where you are, then you would use a little bit less flour. There we go. Okay, so it's a nice soft dough. Now if I can keep it moving so it doesn't stick. There we go. That's looking good. Okay. Okay, now I found this cooking spray when I was going through our camping stuff. So I've been using it up. I mean, it works fine. You can use regular oil, you can use butter, you can use cooking spray. And we're just going to put this in here and let it rise. I'm going to cover my bowl with some plastic wrap. We're going to let this rise for about an hour, I think. It's kind of warm in here, so maybe not so long. But we want to let this double in size. Okay, guys, we're back. The dough has risen. So now we are going to divide it up into 10 equal pieces. And we'll set it to rest for about 20 minutes before we cook them. I like to weigh my dough, and then that way I know that my pieces are right about the same size, and my English muffins come out pretty uniform. You don't have to weigh your dough. You don't have to be that picky. Just divide it 10 ways the best way you can. So let's get the dough cut up into 10 pieces, and I'll show you what we do with it. Okay, so here's the dough. I'm going to put a little flour down so we don't stick. These are just those plastic cutting boards that you can get from the store. I'm going to fold this up a little bit. Okay, so it usually weighs about the same thing, about 1 pound, 9 ounces. We're going to do right around 2.5 ounces per piece. I'm going to cut this in half, and then each one of these needs to be 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, we didn't get it. Okay, so let's go like this. Okay, so that's 2.4. Okay. Now, to roll these out, let me put a little bit of flour on my fingers. Okay, so what we're going to do is you take the dough, and you're just going to kind of tuck it all the way around. This is going to give you a nice smooth surface on top. Oh, there's something I forgot to. Okay, once you have that tucked, you can kind of roll it on your cutting board, and that'll make the bottom nice and smooth. Now, what I forgot was I have a piece of parchment paper here, and you can sprinkle some flour on it so that they don't stick. But what I like to use is some cornmeal. And it makes it more like the store-bought. So we're just going to put some cornmeal all over this. And that'll just keep the muffins from sticking. Okay, so we've got this one rolled out. We're just kind of, we're like pushing it and then pulling it. We're not rolling it around and around. We're just trying to get that bottom to smooth. So you just push and pull. And with some practice, it becomes very easy. Okay, so once you have that, you're going to place it down on the cornmeal or flour, whatever you have. Pat it down, flip it over, pat it down, and that's it. Okay, so fold it in, just grab the edges and fold it in, all the way around. And then you take this side that you just folded in and you flip it over, put it down on your cutting board or your counter, and roll. Just push and pull, push and pull. And that makes that bottom nice and smooth. So just push and pull. Okay? Now we've got a nice round ball and kind of smooth on the bottom. We're going to put that down in the cornmeal. Push it down, flip it over, push it down, and there's two of them done. I don't know if you can do these over a campfire. I would be willing to try if I had a campfire. There we go. That's the last one all rolled out. Get it in the cornmeal and off my fingers. So here we have them. Now just go through and pat them down. Sorry about the camera shake, guys. There's not a whole lot of room in this kitchen for setting up big cameras, so I'm doing the best I can. Okay, so now we're just going to let these set for 20 minutes. After 10 minutes, we'll start getting our frying pan ready, and I'll show you what we do then. Okay, so this is my little Coleman cook stove. We bought it a long time ago for when we were camping. It's come in real handy now. We do have a little mini stove in the RV, but it is way too hot in there to cook anything. So it's been 10 minutes since we set the muffins to rest. So what we want to do now is we want to put just a little bit of oil in our pan, in our frying pan. Just a little bit. I'm going to spread that around with a paper towel. We just want to make sure that the muffins, English muffins, don't stick. Plus it helps them to brown. We want to turn the heat on low. We're going to give this 10 minutes to come up to temperature, the pan itself. We don't want to put it on high and try to cook faster because the muffins won't cook all the way through. You'll just have burnt outside and mushy dough on the inside. So we're going to turn this on. We are going to need a cover for this pan. So make sure you use a pan that has a cover. I do have a cover for this. So now 5-10 minutes, we're going to let this pan heat up nicely, and then we will cook them. Okay, so my pan is all heated up. These have been resting. Now, you're not waiting for the muffins to rise or anything. They're just resting. These will rise when you cook them. We're going to take one, and we're going to set it in there. And we're going to fit as many in here as we can, but they will rise while they're in this pan. So you don't want to cram the pan full and then not have room to get in there and flip them over. And so I'm going to fit 6 of them in there, and I'll cover up the rest of them. Now we're going to cook this on the low to medium heat for 8 minutes. Now after 8 minutes, we're going to flip them over for another 5 minutes. Make sure they're nicely golden brown. Keep it on them. Don't let them burn. It should be 8 minutes on the first side. Flip it over. Do 5 minutes on the second side. And then just pull them out. Alright guys, it has been 7.5 minutes. So I'm going to check these. Oh, it looks good. Okay, let me flip these over and then I'll bring you in to see. So we're going to flip them all. And they're very hot. And there's the timer going off for 8 minutes. Okay, let me bring you in. Okay, so that's what they look like after 8 minutes. Now we flipped them over. We're going to recover them. And we're going to cook them for another 5 minutes. Alright guys, we're back. Just a few seconds left. We're going to go ahead and check these. Oh yes, they are looking good. Very hot. Let me get them out of the pan. We'll show them all to you afterwards. They smell so good. There goes my timer. Ooh. Okay, so we're going to put in the rest of these now. And 5. So I would cut one open and show you, but you really need to wait until they cool down, at least a little bit. I mean, depends on how you like your English muffin, I suppose. Personally, I like to fork split them, put them in the toaster, slather some butter on there. Oh, they're so yummy. I love English muffins. But these are for dinner tonight. We're making little mini muffin pizzas. So what you do is you split these open, smear some tomato paste or spaghetti sauce or pasta sauce, pizza sauce, whatever you want on there for sauce. Put on your cheese and your toppings, and then broil them for 5 minutes. Pretty easy. I mean, everybody's got their own way of doing it. But we're not talking about pizza. We're talking about English muffins here. So, okay. I will be back with you when these are all done. You've seen how to cook them now. So when they're all done, I will come back and we'll cut open one of the ones that were done first, and we'll see what they look like on the inside. Alright guys, so I've got them all cooked up now. They're all done. They're looking very nice. Nicely browned on both sides. Now I did tell you that I was going to show you what these are like. Now I really like fork split English muffins. You could take a knife and just cut them. But there's just something about the nooks and crannies that you get with a fork split. So I just take my fork and, if I can show you here, I just go around it with the fork. Just go all the way around it with the fork. And that's what you call a fork split. And then you can just pull it open. And look at that English muffin. You got all the nooks and crannies on there. And it's just like store-bought. Now, I would gladly eat it and show you that it tastes great. But like I said, these are for dinner. So, unfortunately, I can't do that. But there you have it. The best English muffins you can make homemade taste better than store-bought. Hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. You can hit that subscribe button down below if you haven't already. And share the video. To all your friends that want to make homemade English muffins, share the video. And if you try this recipe out, let me know. Let me know how it came out for you, if you had any problems. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you next time. Bye.